I found an article in the Washington Post, and the headline reads, Trump administration begins laying off federal workers amid shutdown. More than 4,000 positions will be eliminated across agencies, the government told a court Friday night. Tyrone Bowman, welcome to the program, everyone, on this Saturday night. It's the Saturday night edition of Tyrone Bowman Live. I'm going to be talking about this article in a moment, but I have an announcement I'm going to make, and I'll be making it for a while. It's a brief announcement, but it's important. I'm in the process of building a professional studio for Tyrone Bowman Live. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be nice. It's going to be very professional. Instead of this door behind me that you've seen me consistently sitting in front of. And not only are we going to build the nice studio, but we're going to make sure that I don't have to hold this up to the camera anymore, because we'll be getting some nice computers and some equipment, things that are urgently needed since the channel is growing. Got to make it more professional, more attractive at the same time. To all of you who have subscribed to Tyrone Bowman Live, I really appreciate it. I think we have 2,320 subscribers. So this is what I'd like to know. Out of all these subscribers, if everybody would cash at me $1, I'll have enough money to do what I need to do to get our studio done. I made a video a few days ago with all the detailed information, but I'll give it here real quickly. It's all you have to do is go to Cash App, look for my name, Tyrone Bowman Sr. It's $Pixel, PIEXEL number 4. So everybody just has to give $1 and we'll get the job done. So greetings to you. Hey, what's happening, Mark? Welcome to the program. All right, y'all, you know how I'm about to do it. I'm about to dissect an article from the Washington Post. What's up, Tony? Let me greet y'all real quick, because once I get into the zone, I'm going to be in the zone. I'm not going to be able to really, I'll see the messages as they come across. But once I get into the zone, I'm there. So the government has been shut down for 10 days. And all the blame is going toward the Democrats. Republicans don't want to accept the blame for anything. They never do anything wrong. They never say anything wrong. They've never done anything wrong. They always want to appear to be infallible. But they have screwed up and screwed up bad. This is what gets me. The Republicans control the Senate. The Republicans control Congress. The Republicans control the White House. The Republicans control the money. So how is it that the government has been shut down? Because the Democrats don't and will not go along with cutting Medicaid, Medicare, and health care for almost 20 plus million people. So this article from the Washington Post, and it was written by Hannah Natterson, Merrill Cornfield, and Jacob Bogage. Let's find out what they had to say in this article. Quote, the Trump administration began laying off federal workers Friday as the government shutdown stretched into its 10th day. Fulfilling threats from President Donald Trump to take advantage of the closure to shave off more parts of the federal workforce he dislikes. Quote, the RIFs have begun, end quote, White House Budget Director Russell Voigt, remember that name, I'm going to tell you who he is in a moment, posted on X on Friday afternoon using an acronym for reductions in force. All right. Russell Voigt is one of the major architects behind Project 2025. He helped to plan it, plot it, and execute it, And the reward that he got for the hard work that he did with Project 2025 is making him the budget director. And it's also ironic that all of these MAGA Republicans, they always run the X. I told you all that just because Elon Musk was not in the White House did not mean that they weren't friends. They're still friends. They're still buddies. They're still pals. They're still plotting and scheming how to screw the average person over and destroy people's lives. And if you don't think that these billionaires stick together, the all boys racist billionaire club, they all stick together. Oh, they may fall out and cuss each other out, and they cover up each other's dirt and sins and secrets, and they keep them buried. But at the end of the day, they're still cronies. And what do they all have in common? Making money. They don't care how they make it because they think that their money is power in their life hereafter. They think that their money is going to cause God to look favorably upon them when the time comes for them to stand before him and give an account for their actions. You know, there's a story in the Bible. It's about a rich man and Lazarus. Go check it out. Find out what happened. Now, so they're still buddies and they're still pals. The administration told a federal judge in California on Friday night that 7 agencies, commerce, education, energy, health and human services, housing and urban development, homeland security and treasury, had issued RIF notices to a total of more than 4,100 workers. Lawyers for the government added that the Environmental Protection Agency had also told about 20 to 30 employees that they might be affected by a RIF in the future, and other agencies are actively considering whether to conduct additional RIFs related to the ongoing lapse in appropriations. According to the court filing, they are unceremoniously being fired. That's what's happening. They are going to be fired. Screw this crap about layoffs. That's just a little fancy way of saying, we're going to stop the workforce for a little bit, and then we're going to call you back. No, they're not. These are people that they wanted to get rid of, and this is an opportunity to do it. Once all safeguards are removed in any sector of life, your personal life, my personal life, when people go beyond a certain point of no return, there is no coming back. There is no retreating. There is no forgiving. You know, that's the problem with the Democratic Party. For too long, y'all have been too nice. You've been too conciliatory. You've been too ready to go along with any and everything, bending over backwards to appease people who don't give a damn about y'all. That's the problem with the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, and don't tell me that it's not true, because it is. Inflation is out of control. Gas prices are out of control. Food prices are out of control. Rent is out of control. Mortgage companies are foreclosing on people's houses right and left. The housing market is out of control. The average person can't even go to the market to buy food for their families unless they're using credit cards to buy food with, credit cards to pay off credit cards to pay off credit cards. We're going to see more personal bankruptcies than ever before in the history of America during these next several years. People are going to file for bankruptcies because the pressure of economic and money collapse is just going to be too much for them to handle. People are working jobs, and they're going beyond the 8 hours. Many people are working 10 hours. They're working 12. Some are working 14 hours a day. Some people working double shifts. Then going home just to sleep for an hour, take a nap, get back up, and go back and do it all over again the next day. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office on Friday that the administration deliberately moved to lay off people that the Democrats want, close quote. That's a direct quote, ladies and gentlemen. This is called political retribution. quote, it'll be Democrat oriented because we figure, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat oriented. It'll be a lot. I'm going to use the term firings. More firings will be coming, and the court filing is just a snapshot in time. A senior administration official said, speaking of the condition of anonymity, meaning they're cowards, to discuss personal matters. The court in California ordered the government late Friday night to give updates on additional dismissals. They're not going to do that. If you don't think this is going to affect you eventually, you are deluding yourself, because it is. When it comes to your city, your town, let me ask you a question. We have a major storm getting ready to impact the East Coast and the coastal areas and the southern areas. Do you really think that FEMA is going to come to the aid of the people in the southern part of the state and give them governmental assistance, give them monies that they need in case something happens to their property? Do you think insurance companies are going to favorably write checks out for policyholders for what they consider to be, quote, acts of God, close quote, that's not covered? Do you really think the benevolence factor of the government is going to reach out to the neediest people in times of distress? The answer is no. But yet at the same time, they're trying to convince you and I that everything that's happening in this nation is for our good. As the dismissals unfurled Friday did appear to mostly target offices that do work typically out of line with Trump administration's priorities, including a unit within the Department of Health and Human Services focused on family and community policy, and an office focused on, and let me talk about that, HUD, Housing, Urban, and Development. Those of you that are on Section 8, you better listen to me, and you better listen to me good tonight. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You better listen to this black man talking to you tonight. I don't care if you like me, hate me, loathe me, despise me. You can cuss me out and call me every name under the sun. I don't care. You are going to be affected greatly that have Section 8 housing, because they're going to take it away from you. It's coming. And when it comes, it's going to come fast. It's going to come furious. It's going to have the vengeance, all in the name of we're streamlining the government. We're making people take accountability and stop depending on the public trove or trust to help them. Well, why is it that every time these greedy CEOs from Wall Street destroy their companies, the auto industry, the housing factor, etc., they always come to the government for welfare? That's what a bailout is. It's called welfare. They always come to them like they did it when Barack Obama was president of the United States. He had to save the auto industry and everything else. And these greedy corporate CEOs got billions and billions and billions of dollars. And then they still turned around and did the same dumb, stupid stuff that got them in the situation in the first place. Section 8 housing is going to come to an end in ways that you've never seen before in your life. Homelessness around America is terrible. It's out of control. People can barely afford rent. They can barely afford to rent an apartment. And the average owners, they're slumlords, they're greedy, backstabbing, lying, cheating slum lords. They won't fix up the places. They won't modernize them, but they want the rent on time. Everything can be rickety and falling apart, but they want their money and have no intentions of repairing anything. Now, some of you are not going to believe a word of what I'm telling you tonight, but you will when it happens. When Section 8 housing, and they got that one token black guy who's more whiter than the average white person talking when he talks, making sure that he does all the dirty work to throw people out into the streets and then try to justify it. And if you think it's not going to affect your friends and your family, they're going to tell you about it. It's going to affect your neighbors as well. There are millions of white people who have Section 8 housing too. It's not just black people. It's going to affect a lot of people. And people better learn to become self-sufficient. We all have talents. We all have gifts. We all have the ability to fend for ourselves. We can do it if you choose to. As a dismissal, I read that already. So, the Department of Health and Human Services focused on family and community policy, and an office focused on fair and equal housing within the Department of the Fair and Equal Housing. Where's the fairness at? Where's the equal act? According to several federal employees familiar with the matter, speaking on the condition of anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak publicly, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Also next was an education department division focused on improving academic achievement for K through 12 students, a half dozen staffers said, because they don't want black people in decent schools. I know what I'm talking about. Parents, educate your children yourself. Stop being lazy. Go and get the materials. Homeschool your children if you have to. Find out all the stuff that you want your children to learn and teach them yourself. Stop begging to go to schools where you know they don't want you. What? Let me say it again. Stop begging to go to schools where you know they don't even want you. Damn integration. That has been one of the worst things that's ever happened in the United States of America for black people because it has systematically destroyed the economy that was so fervent and strong during segregation in America. Almost overnight, they figured out how can we get that black money and destroy them at the same time. Let's appear to be fair. Let's appear to be equal. They're a buy-in market. You know black people spend trillions of dollars on all kind of stuff all year long. You don't believe me? Wait until their Christmas time comes up, because I don't celebrate Christmas. Wait until their Christmas time comes up. You're going to see them in all these department stores buying all this junk that they don't need. You'll see it firsthand. You'll see the liquor stores. Somebody said, well, do you believe in Jesus? Yep, with all my heart and soul. I don't believe in the paganistic aspect of Christ. No, I don't. I reject it. You ain't going to find nowhere in the Bible where Santa Claus came to the manger where Jesus was. It ain't in there. Now, you're going to see people go to all these stores. Oh, they're going to pack Target out. Supposed to be boycotting. Black folk go to Target by the hundreds of thousands. They'll be right up in Target. They'll be in Walmart. They'll be they'll fill out the malls, and they will spend almost $250 billion over the holiday season. Rent won't get paid. Gas won't get paid. Electric won't get paid. Putting money aside for emergency use won't get paid. Won't happen. You're going to buy gifts for ungrateful, unthankful, hateful, mean-spirited people who can't stand you. And you're trying to buy their friendship and affection. Keep on spending all the hard-earned money. So employees will have at least 30 days, and many will have at least 60 days before any dismissals take effect according to federal guidance. That's a lie. They're going to get rid of them real quick. The shutdown layoffs are the culmination of years of groundwork. Listen, I told you, by Voight, the mastermind behind Project 2025. The shutdown layoffs are the culmination of years of groundwork laid by Voight, an architect of the Project 2025 playbook for Trump's second term, which outlined the drastically reduced federal bureaucracy. Voight's office had threatened mass dismissals during the shutdown, perhaps even stretching into the hundreds of thousands, but it also told agencies that layoff plans might need to be revised after the government reopens. Trump told reporters before the shutdown that he might fire, quote, a lot, end quote, of people. And once the shutdown began, Vice President J.D. Vance and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt likewise indicated that cuts were coming. Well, why would you sit around and wait for somebody to fire you? That just doesn't make sense to me. This man told you all what he was going to do before he was reelected. And people voted anyway. He told you what was coming. He said he knew nothing about Project 2025, didn't he? It was all a systematic plan. They were all at the Republican convention together. I told you all on this program probably over 1,000 plus videos ago what Project 2025 was. I laid it out for you. In about 4 or 5 videos, line upon line, precept upon precept, word for word, as reported by CBS. I covered every aspect of what Project 2025 was. And many of y'all said it wasn't true. You said it was a lie. Well, here we are. Midterm elections are coming up. And I hear people grumbling all around, especially in the city of Philadelphia. I'm not going to vote, blah, blah, blah. Then don't vote. God darn it. Stay miserable. Stay bitter. Stay mean. Stay hateful. Stay upset. Keep talking loud and saying nothing. Keep being a part of the problem instead of the solution. And you'll wake up the day after and you're going to be miserable all over again. Now is not the time to foolishly spend money. You better save some money for emergency purposes when they come up. Let me tell you something they got going on in my neighborhood. They have 3 sites, 2 community halls, and 1 church. Twice a month, they give out a lot of food and everything else, and those people start lining up between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. Do you hear what I'm telling you? They start lining up at between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning because it ain't just black people in those lines. It's Latinos, it's Mexicans, Chinese, Russians, Ukrainians. I see them all the time in the food lines, getting the boxes of food and other essential things that they need. Sometime tonight, I'm going to do a serious video about hunger and homelessness in America. This is not a game. This is not a joke. The electric company will cut your stuff off. The gas company will cut your stuff off. Think nothing of it. You'll be in there taking a shower or taking a bath or cooking food and enjoying your favorite TV show, and then zoop, everything is shut off. The cable company, play around with T-Mobile if you want to, or Metro by T-Mobile, or Verizon, or AT&T. Don't pay that phone bill. They will shut it off. Shut it down. They don't care about recessions. They don't care about layoffs. They don't care about temporary layoffs. All they care about is they want that bill paid every month. It's time for people to unify and work together. The size of the federal workforce is unrelated to the government's ability to pay its bills during a shutdown. Through White House officials have falsely suggested otherwise. Well, if it's not important, then why are you all demanding the Democrats to come back to Washington then? If the government can operate with the government being shut down, then why are you all saying that it's the Democrats' fault? Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is a wuss, mealy-mouthed, weak, pathetic. He can't even stand up for his own party and justify what's going on. At least past Republican speakers of the House had a spine behind them. The Washington Post previously reported that the dismissals were likely to total fewer than 16,000. I don't believe this crap coming from the Washington Post, a Republican MAGA-owned newspaper. I don't believe it. Because they're going to slant everything toward the Republicans. The layoffs run counter to recent internal warnings from senior government officials that such dismissals are legally questionable. In the first days of the shutdown, officials privately counseled agencies against conducting reductions in force. While the government lacks funding because it would probably violate the law, the Post reported this month. Really? The official cautioned the Anti-Deficiency Act forbids the government from obligating or expending any money not appropriated by Congress, which means the government cannot incur new expenses during a shutdown when funding has lapsed. The RF, or the firings, the layoffs process, which is extensive and involves promising servants payments, would probably be prohibited under the act, the officials included. Wow. Arlene, you can go take a hike. I ain't paying you no mind. Go back over to your MAGA country where you belong. This country is already dealing with fear and lies upon lies upon lies. And you all don't want to hear anything that is in opposition to the way that you vote. You voted wrong and you still won't admit you screwed up. Because even in your voting, you want to try to justify destroying people's lives. So that theory will not almost certainly be put to the test. Even before the layoffs begin, they drew a legal challenge from several federal unions. Their lawsuit brought against the Office of Management and Budget and the Office of Personnel Management on September 30 over threats of dismissals argued that the administration has no authority or ability to conduct RIFs amidst the shutdown, in part citing the Anti-Deficiency Act. Yes, they can. The president can issue an executive order. What do you mean they don't have any legal authority? Yes, they do have legal authority. You can file all the lawsuits you want. It doesn't mean that you're going to win. These are things that we must prepare for. A federal judge in the Northern District, oh, well, I missed one part. Nothing in the Anti-Deficiency Act or any other statute authorized RIFs of employees who work in agencies or programs with a lapse in funding, the suit argued. Ignoring binding federal law is arbitrary and capricious. A federal judge in the Northern District of California this week ordered the administration to provide by Friday, quote, status of any currently planned or in progress RIF notices to be issued during because of the government shutdown, including the earliest date that those RIF notices will go out. Well, are employers really, by law, are they required to notify anybody when they fire you? No, they do not. You can walk in on a Monday morning and they'll say, Mr. Bowman, Tyrone, can I see you in the office? No, don't bother going to your desk. We just want to talk to you. Well, it's just not working out here, pal. And we've decided to move in a different direction. And as of right now, this is your last day. No. Security will come and escort you out. And you think I'm going to give an employer a 2-week notice and they can fire you in 2 seconds? You must be crazy. There ain't no protocol. There is no more rules of engagement at this point in time. Civility is out of the window. Some people are facing firings right now. The government had not provided that information by the time Voight announced the dismissals, but it later furnished it shortly after Voight's social post. The lawyers for the unions requested an immediate halt to any layoffs pending an upcoming hearing. The government said it opposed that motion. It goes to prove my point. They have unilateral authority to do just what they're doing. Senator Pat Murray of Washington, the top Democrat on the Appropriations Committee, accused Trump of choosing to inflict more pain on the American people with the new layoffs. No one is making Trump and Voight hurt American workers. They just want to, Murray said. This is nothing new, and no one should be intimidated by these crooks, quote, close quote. Federal employment lawyers said the attempted dismissals are almost certainly illegal, violating rules that guide the process of federal state cutbacks. Federal regulations say that agencies can dismiss employees for one of several reasons, including a lack of work, a reorganization, or a shortage of funds. Really? But a shutdown-driven temporarily lapse in funding does not count as a shortage of funds, the lawyers said. It's like trying to call an apple an orange. They're both fruit, but it's not the same, said Kevin Owen, a partner at a firm representing federal workers. At the Department of Health and Human Services, the layoffs are an attempt to rein in growth of the agency during the Biden administration's pandemic response. Spokesman Andrew Nix said in a statement, quote, all HHS employees receiving reduction in force notices were designated non-essential by their respective divisions. HHS continues to close wasteful and duplicative entities, including those that are at odds with the Trump administration's Make America Healthy Again agenda. There's smoke, but where's the fire? There's plenty of smoke. You know, you can either be on the right side of history or you can be on the wrong side of history. But one day, people are going to give an account for their actions, whether they think so or not. Just because you're rich and powerful, rich people, listen up. Don't think that you can't lose your billions of dollars. The stock market will crash again, just like it did in 1929. And if all your dreams and your hopes and your goals and your aspirations and your faith is in your money, you will commit suicide, jump off of buildings, just like they did back then. Overnight, the stock market crashed without warning, and millionaires became paupers. They became beggars. They became homeless. They were on the streets, sitting next to the people that they walked by and drove by every day of the week. People will praise the rich and the powerful and have disdain for the homeless and the suffering. This round of layoffs is the latest development in a difficult year for federal workers who have already seen hundreds of thousands of their co-workers depart through firings, retirement programs, and the deferred resignation offered developed by the Trump administration. The last initiative alone saw 150,000 people leave federal service because they're tired of the bull. In a year already filled with cruel and relentless attacks on the federal workforce, this is yet another example of this administration treating us like pawns and further dehumanizing and traumatizing us, quote unquote, said an EPA worker speaking on the condition of anonymity for fear of retribution. Education Department employees were told there would be a reduction in force in 60 days, according to one worker, and it wasn't clear. That meant plans could be reversed once the shutdown ends. I remember I was working for a major company, and they had massive layoffs. Everybody was affected. And they said, well, we're laying you off with the intent of bringing you back. I said, that's a lie. Just give me the severance package and I'm getting the hell out of here. Now, y'all can sit here and listen to these lies if you want to. Tyrone ain't going to sit here and listen to them. And I was right. They do this every day to people. All right, some of y'all that's commenting in the comment section. I want to talk somebody who works for Amazon. Tell me about that glorious job from Amazon right now. Tell me about it. Tell me how wonderful it is driving all day into the night, and they want you to deliver every package before you get home. For those of you that drive for Prime, tell me about it. What about the truckers who drive all across country day and night, delivering goods and services that are essential for all of us? Overworked and underpaid. What about transportation? Many people have cars. The cars are not in the best of shape. Y'all trying to make the cars work, and you pray to God that nothing happens to your car every day. Am I right about it? Talk back to me. See, y'all might not like some of the things I say, but you can't deny that they're true. Truth is never pretty. It's never popular, but it has to be spoken. You know, once they get this governmental thing done, then these people better learn how to sit down and learn how to work together and find some common ground for the good of the nation and for the good of the people in the nation. Or else destruction is going to continue politically and economically. And y'all keep believing these fake statistics if you want to. Keep believing these fake polls and this fake news and the fake lies telling you everything is wonderful in America. Keep believing it. I see it every day. When I catch the bus and go home at night, and I get home late at night, and I'm at that bus stop, there are about 20 or 30 of us getting on the bus at a time. And I look at the faces of these men and women. They're tired. They're worn out. They've worked all day. And probably half of them worked much harder than the way I work. I see elderly women, mothers, grandmothers, who are out there working, coming home late at night, dragging their feet. One lady told me one night, she said, I'm so glad you're standing out here on this corner with me. She said, because I'm so terrified standing out here by myself at night. She said, baby, I is tired. I could feel her anguish. I feel her pain. That's why I couldn't be a politician, because I would do exactly what I say. I wouldn't need a second term, because I'm going to get it all done in the first term. Point blank. Can't threaten me with retribution. Can't tell me we're going to oppose you in the next election. I ain't running. I'm running one time if I become a politician. And I'll do more damage in 4 years than y'all can do in 10, 20, and 30 years. Because I'm going to do the damage to the system and make sure people get the help that they need. Let me tell you something about you black politicians. Yeah, I'm talking to y'all. You wanted the job, you got the job. You wanted to be elected, they put you in power. Look out for the people who put you there, and don't forget them. Many times people just want to hear from you, even if they know that you can't solve their problems. Just don't ignore their pain. Don't ignore their suffering. Don't ignore their voice. Don't ignore their plight. When you were on the campaign trail, you kept showing up and showing up. How come you don't come back to the communities and hold community events by the dozens, by the thousands, and talk to them? Don't hurt to go on a listening tour. Just listen to people. Listen to their grievances. Listen to their complaints. Listen to their pain. Feel what they feel. And I'm going to do a story about abortion pretty soon. I'm going to tell you all the Republicans' girlfriends that all these Republicans having abortions all over the place, and they're supposed to be the family values party. What hypocrisy. Despite early promises to fire many federal workers, administration officials have been largely moving away from mass layoffs after thousands took buyout offers and retire. Yeah, because they got tired of y'all. For instance, Veterans Affairs, the second largest federal agency, canceled an expected 15% cut, citing high numbers of voluntary departures. Other agencies, such as the IRS and the General Services Administration, have recently brought back workers who took buyouts or were fired. I would never come back. You humiliate me, shame me, fire me. You think I'm going to come back and work for you? The hell out of here. Ain't going to happen. I ain't coming back. And the National Weather Service over the summer won permission to hire for more than 100 positions after cuts left the agency significantly diminished. And they were struggling to keep basic forecasting, often at the cost of workers' mental health. You know, the human body was not made to work 16 hours a day. The human mind was not made for that purpose. Individuals were not made to work 20 hours, 25 hours, 24 hours cycles. Psychologically, your mind won't handle it. Mentally, your mind can't take it. Physically, your body will break down. And that's the truth. So the layoffs are here. And the Democratic employees will be affected the most. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this video is, somebody say, yes, we are exhausted. Of course, people are exhausted. So I'm going to see you all in the next video. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'll be back. Thank you all for watching. Never surrender. Never quit.